Our opening words today are from Creative Living, defined by Elizabeth Gilbert. So this, I believe, is the central question upon which all creative living hinges. Do you have the courage to bring forth the treasures that are hidden within you? Look, I don't know what's hidden within you. I have no way of knowing such a thing. You yourself may barely know, although I suspect you've caught glimpses. I don't know your capacities, your aspirations, your longings, your secret talents, but surely something wonderful is sheltered inside you. I say this with all confidence because I happen to believe that we are all walking repositories of buried treasure. I believe this is one of the oldest and most generous tricks the universe plays on human beings, both for its own amusement and for ours. The universe buries strange jewels deep within us all and then stands back to see if we can find them. The hunt to uncover those jewels, that's creative living. The courage to go on that hunt in the first place, that's what separates a mundane existence from a more enchanted one. And I thank David for providing our reading for today, Rainbow Voices by Susie Kasem. I ask people of the world and children of light to start reflecting the stories of their souls to vibrate wisdom around the earth. Pick up a paintbrush or microphone. Press the inks of your pens to paper or tap words onto your screens. And start sharing what you know and have learned with the masses. Turn your personal painting into a piece of the earth's puzzle so that our unified assemblage of thoughts, experiences, and lessons reveal common truths that cannot be denied. Imagine the changes that could happen if everyone suddenly stopped acting like someone else, became true to themselves, and celebrated the beauty of their uniqueness. Only after people have willingly removed their masks and costumes and have begun pouring light from their hearts to reveal their vulnerability, dreams, and pains, will we be able to see that beneath the surface, we are all the same. After all, how can the world collectively fight for truth if soldiers in its armies are void of truth? We must first of all be true by putting truth in our words and actions. And to do so, everyone must learn to think and react with their conscience. Imagine what truth could do to neutralize the clutches of evil once this black and white world suddenly became embraced by a strong rainbow of loud, powerful voices. We could put color back into every home, every school, every industry, every nation, and every garden on earth where flowers have been crushed by corruption.
The soul, this little pill will not dissolve into your pain, my pain, our pain. One day you walk upon the shore. There'll be no need to ask for more of that flight. Yes, that's right. No more nights without sleep. Let the sun shine in. 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 Have you any clue how long it's been since you really turned to look within to see how much you were worth? Love yourself and rebirth. Every moment a chance to share your mirth. One day you look upon blue sky, begin to cry. At any time in everyday life, you'll save your crying for sad times.
Well, it is my pleasure to introduce both Andrea Ficek and David Martel. She earned her undergraduate degree in music education at the University of Mary, but instead of settling into a teaching job, Andrea has chosen to pursue her love of creating visual art and handcrafted goods, and started her own business named Rhythmic Stitch. She is a member of the Bismarck Downtown Artist Co-op and a longtime vendor at Urban Harvest. Andrea keeps in touch with her musical side by writing and playing in local bands such as Golden Ratio, Chameleon Moonflower, and Anonymous Phenomenon. David Martel was born in the small town of Rolette, North Dakota, and enjoyed the simple life, growing up on the Martel family farm. Always interested in music, he got his first instrument, a drum set, at age 10. When his older brother Mike bought his first guitar, David would sneak into his brother's room and play it when he wasn't around. David sings and plays various instruments, from ukulele to piano to guitar. He's been involved in the Bismarck music scene since about 2001, when he started his first band called Little Devious Me, and has played in various groups since, such as Roost, Gypsy Foot, and Anonymous Phenomenon. Currently, Martel is working on recording and performing his original music in a group called Chameleon Moonflower. Andrea is collaborating with David on this project and contributes vocals, trumpet, and accordion to the mix. Welcome, Andrea and David.
Art, the expression or application of human creative skill and imagination. Community, a group of people living in the same place and having a particular characteristic in common. A feeling of fellowship with others as a result of sharing common attitudes and interests. So I've always been into the arts, drawing, painting, taking piano lessons, playing trumpet in band. Always a big part of my life, but it wasn't until my senior year of high school that I found an open mic night at Green Earth Cafe, and where I met a lot of great people and really found this community that was very supportive. I was a quiet, shy introvert, but I felt like I belonged there, and mustered up the courage to share my own original work. It's the first place I ever played my original music. I also met future bandmates there. Though Green Earth closed shortly after I left for college, a lot of these people I met there remained in my life. So the lessons I learned from Green Earth Cafe, I learned that there is an art scene in Bismarck, and I just had to dig a little bit. I learned that it's okay to come out of your comfort zone and try something new. In fact, I encourage it. And I learned that everyone has something to share. It takes a lot of courage, so respect anyone that puts themselves out there. After returning home from my freshman year of college in Minneapolis, I developed a new appreciation for Bismarck, the very place I was eager to leave my entire adolescence. Couldn't wait to get out, but when I came back, I reconnected with that art community, met the soon-to-come known as Gypsy Foot crew, and took up some crafts like sewing, knitting, crocheting, jewelry making, just any way I could, I guess, get my creative juices out there. And the Gypsy Foot guys asked me to do their artwork for the first CD album cover, and that was a great opportunity for me. Their first CD release party was a big deal, not only for them, but for me, being the artist and also running the merch table, as I often did. They welcomed me to also sell my creations I had been making, and little did I know people would actually like them. I sold out of almost everything I brought that day. So I learned that I belonged in a circle of creative people. I learned the joy of making something from scratch, and I learned that I not only enjoyed creating, but that others found use and value in it as well.
Yeah, Andrea asked me to talk a little bit about Gypsy Foot, and that actually kind of happened by kind of a fluke. I was in a band called Roost, and I was the front man in that group, and I played with my cousin in that group, and Ira Roberson, Derek Elam, Dylan Marcus, and we were, I don't know, we kind of had a falling out, and suddenly we had this show. We'd asked Roger Nordquist to guest with us, and Joe McCauley, who are both in Gypsy Foot as well. And Nolan Falcon, who is sitting in the back of the room here, actually, happened to be there, and so did his brother Chad, who they both, I think they really liked what they were hearing when we were playing on the stage, and both of them wanted to. I think Nolan actually was like, can I come up and jam with you guys? And so I was like, yeah, sure, that's great. And it pretty much, at that Roost show, it just kind of happened where that band was kind of falling apart, and so we pretty much just picked right up and started this new project that didn't even have a name. And I remember we played, I don't remember the first show, was the first show at the String Bean that we did? Or that's the first show we did where we had a name, I think. But the first show that I remember doing was at this bar in Lincoln, and I remember that somehow there was just a ton of people there, and we didn't even have a name for this group. And you could just tell the people, everybody was really into what we were doing, and we didn't have any songs yet. We were just improvising completely. So it was pretty interesting to see that happen. And yeah, Gypsy Foot just kind of grew into this really big thing from there, and we gained a lot of momentum and even had offers to go play in Japan, and all kinds of opportunities came our way, and we did take on a lot of those opportunities. We didn't go to Japan, but we did get out to the West Coast, and we did some touring and had a lot of fun with that. And of course, we tried to get more involved with other artists, and Andrea definitely was a big part of our shows, selling merchandise, selling our CDs for us.
It wasn't long after that I found Urban Harvest. 4 dedicated women in Bismarck decided we needed a local market to build community, revitalize the city center, encourage entrepreneurs, and nourish local businesses. So this summer is actually going to be the 12th season of Urban Harvest, which is amazing. To me, this is one of the greatest examples of community. Through this ongoing event, I've made connections with other artists, people from the community. I've watched people's children grow up, and I've gotten to set up a little shop downtown on the street of 4th. Yep. And they showcase local bands and theater groups, local farmers, share their produce, and local restaurants share their food. And I feel like this is where art meets community. It's just such a great example of a positive direction we're moving in. Also, being an artist can be kind of isolating, so it's really nice to have a place to share what you're working on. So through this, I've learned the importance of community and how it truly enriches all the lives around you. I learned how to register my business with the state and to treat it like a business. I learned about so many beautiful people in the city of Bismarck. It was through my vending buddy, Sarah, that I learned of a performing arts group called Dragon Jane, which is how I met Karen. And it was a small circle of women spanning many decades that met once a week, actually here in this room, to collaborate, write, dance, sing, and express themselves. I was so intrigued, and eventually my interests led to becoming a part of the Sacred Circle. We promoted peace and love for the earth, art and expression, and acceptance of everyone. We performed as well as did workshops and artist residencies and encouraged others to go outside the box and create. We were women lifting each other up, and it was a very special time. So I learned how to openly create and collaborate with others. I learned about creating a safe space to enable others to express themselves. And I learned that any talent was worth sharing.
One thing that I wanted to talk about is people, I think everybody is really creative. A lot of people say that they're not, but all of you are actually very creative and just probably have either been stifled by, not. Part of it, I think, one thing that I wanted to talk about is creativity in school. Do schools actually encourage creativity? And I know some of you are probably teachers, and I'm not aiming to make anybody feel bad or, say anybody's doing anything wrong, but one example I saw, there's this TED Talk that I saw, Ken Robinson, and he was talking about there was a girl not paying attention in class, and she was in the back of the room drawing a picture, and the teacher came up to her and says, what are you doing? She's like, I'm drawing a picture of God. And she's like, nobody knows what God looks like. And she said, they will in a minute. But do schools really encourage creativity? Every education system in the world actually has the same hierarchy of subjects, which starts out with mathematics, languages, on the top, humanities, and then at the very bottom of that list of things are the arts. And I kind of think that there's not really enough focus on how we use our bodies to create, dance, sing, even release endorphins. I mean, obviously we have these programs in school, but if you go to a career counselor, I know for me, it wasn't necessarily that I was going to a career counselor, but I remember talking to a counselor at one point and them asking me, what do you really want to do, you know? And I remember not even really saying what I wanted to do, because I was like, well, this system doesn't really support what I would like to do. And I remember having that feeling at a very young age that you actually can't do this with your life, because you have to go out and you have to make money, you have to be financially stable. And not that I was thinking about finances when I was 5 years old or however old, but yeah, and I wonder if creative people don't believe that they are, because of some of this, these interests not being stigmatized enough, rather being stifled rather than stimulated, you know. And I guess I would encourage everybody to just, you know, if you have a feeling, basically creativity is having an original idea that has value. That's how I would probably define creativity. And that could be anything. It could be writing something, writing a poem, just writing for yourself, singing a song, playing an instrument, painting a picture. But if you get this feeling or this urge, I would encourage you to document that somehow. And I came to this conclusion the other day that that's probably the biggest, in my opinion, that's one of the biggest reasons we're here, is just to document our experience. Whatever we feel, whatever we see, witness, whatever we've been a part of, if it matters to us enough to feel like we should do that, then we should probably do that, you know. And I would also encourage you to feed that thought or idea and believe in it, and even believe in yourself in that, and not to be discouraged by the little, the little bumps in the road, people coming along and being like, I don't like that, you know, or you're not doing a good job at that, or I don't think anyone's ever said that to me, that that you're not doing a good job, but I've definitely confronted people who are like, oh, that needs this, or you need to do this with your song. And it's amazing how often you'll run into people who probably aren't getting out there and doing it themselves, but they're certainly able to come up and tell you, this is how you should actually do this, you know. But the main thing really with creativity is that, and anything, is that you have to allow yourself to fail, because that is probably the biggest stepping stone towards success, actually. In many ways, failing is succeeding, really. Something that I was talking to Andrea about doing, I had heard from a friend of mine in Omaha that she goes to this thing twice a month where they meet up and they come up with an idea, and then they come back together the next time and they perform a song, or this one is specific to music. They perform a song that's based on this theme that they came up with at the last meeting that they had. And so when they get together the next time, some of them will collaborate with each other, some of them will just do it on their own. And they get together at the next one, and then they can perform that in front of everyone, and then people give them positive reinforcement, as well as critiquing it and, giving them any ideas. Obviously, it's nothing negative, nobody is saying anything bad about it. But I had this idea that I don't think there's anything really like that here, and I asked Andrea if she would be willing to help start something like that here. So that's something that we literally just talked about this the other night when we were talking about giving this talk today, and thought that that would be a really great opportunity for people who maybe don't feel like they're confident enough, or, maybe they just want to be around that experience. And I personally enjoy seeing people that are really fresh at doing anything creatively, because that's where you really see the most raw talent in development. And that's my favorite thing. I love hearing music that's really raw and not even recorded well. I like watching artists grow. It's kind of boring to me sometimes to see someone who's just extremely refined and they've got their whole thing down pat, and they come in and they know exactly how to set up, and which I feel like I'm still living very much in the very early stages of a artist, where I'm still kind of like, oh yeah, I got to throw that together really quick, and how does this work again? I still don't even know fully how to run a PA or anything like that. I'm still, still learning how to do a lot of those things. But yeah, hopefully we'll be getting something like that going soon, and find a place where we can do that. And anyone here is definitely welcome to attend those, and we'll let you know, I guess, when we get that started. But that's something we want to do, and we want to incorporate probably more. I was thinking that it would be cool to incorporate not just musicians, but people who want to write poems, or people that want to paint. You can still follow the same theme, and you could paint a picture that is of that theme, or whatever it is. But anyway, that's something.
I haven't talked today about all the times I have failed, or worse, never even tried. Instead, I've chosen to share stories about going out on a limb, following my curiosity, and being led to moments that have changed my life and shaped me into the person I am today. I try to filter out doubts and let the good in, and been able to work with a lot of amazing people to collaborate together in a creative way for the greater good. I've been very blessed. So my advice to you, be patient with yourself, experiment, fail, try again, try it in a different way, ask for help, start something new, share your ideas. If we work together, we can all find creativity together.